What really happened in Muranga last Sunday, 4th October 2020? Kuliendaje? And who was responsible? And what would the objectives have been? On this show, we shall attempt to break it all down for you. Because currently, there appears to be some confusion. Both sides of the political divide are pointing fingers at each other, blaming each other. I strongly urge you to join me in this journey towards the truth, because it is important. Personally, I believe, it is my view, that this is a watershed moment in Kenyan politics. And going forward, it will not help our beloved motherland if you decide to believe the side which you support politically. Yeah, I support this side, and therefore what they say must be the truth. The other side is wrong. The side that I hate must be guilty. No. Please, let's grow out of that. Yeah, let's get out of being teenagers in politics and mature and analyze politics the way it should be analyzed. Let's leave propaganda to those who peddle propaganda. And let us save our strong emotions, for when our favorite political candidate holds a political rally and we go out there to cheer them. If you take this kind of approach, life will be easier for you. You may even be able to help your side to win when you understand precisely what is going on. And you can only do that by analyzing everything very deeply. Now, I have said that in my view, this is a watershed moment in Kenyan politics. Why do I say that? Simply put, it is because I believe, as a result of what happened in Muranga on Sunday, those who may be tempted in future to use violence for political objectives will think twice next time. And in a moment, we'll be on the same page as you understand precisely what I'm driving at. Right. Trouble started when youths, supporting Deputy President William Samoei Ruto and youths strongly opposed to DP Ruto clashed. And it has now been established that at least some of the youths who are opposed to the Deputy President were not from the area. They had been imported. They had come in busloads. Historically, politicians in Kenya have used violence regularly to meet their political objectives. I did an article on the Kumekucha blog, I believe in 2007, where I outlined the various reasons politicians have used violence in Kenya. Check out a link to that article in the description area below, and you'll be able to understand. But the long and short of it is that the most common objective is to disrupt meetings by your political opponent and to ensure that they don't have the breathing space to move forward the political agenda in a certain area. In Sunday's Muranga incident, it is also possible, I'm not saying that's what happened, but it is also possible that somebody may have wanted to use violence to gain political sympathy. That is, pretend your opponent is attacking you. Give the impression that you have made such serious impact in a certain area that your opponent has resorted to violence to stop you. And you do this by organizing for your own supporters to be attacked. I realize this may shock those who have not looked too deeply into Kenyan politics in the past. But I assure you it's not a theory. Let me give you the most extreme example. Quickly. During a general election in Kenya, I believe it was in the 70s, in a constituency that used to be called Lurambi in western Kenya, it was clear at the tail end of the campaigns that a politician known as Burudi Nabwera, who was also the first ambassador to the United States from Kenya, was going to win that parliamentary seat. And then suddenly, something very shocking unfolded. One of the main campaign managers of his opponent was found murdered. And voters quickly believed that it was Burudi Nabwera's camp that had murdered the campaign manager of the opponent. And Bwana Nabwera lost those elections. And he found it very difficult in the following years to make a political comeback. For all intents and purposes, that was the end of his political career. Sadly so. And much later, when his opponent was already safely in parliament, it was discovered that his camp definitely had nothing to do with that murder, which left only one suspect, with a very strong motive. Let me just leave it at that. Now, allies to the deputy president have come out very strongly and blamed the state for the violence that unfortunately caused 2 Kenyans to lose their lives. Those on the other side of the political divide have blamed the deputy president's camp. And indeed, the Inspector General of Police has summoned 2 key allies from the Muranga area who were in attendance. Alice Wahome, the legislator for Kandara, and Ndindi Nyoro, the Kiharu MP, which would suggest to the public that the 2 were involved in the chaos or in causing the chaos. And both sides have circulated what appears to be evidence to prove that they're right. DP Ruto's camp have a video online showing a certain woman confessing that she was sent with others who arrived in busloads to cause the chaos. On the other hand, Team Keleweke have produced photographs showing one of the people who was involved in causing the chaos talking to legislator Ndindi Nyoro. But here is the really interesting part of this whole sad saga. Kenyans who were not there are confused. But residents of Muranga who were there are not confused. It is very clear in their minds who started the chaos, who planned and caused the chaos. Now. This is why I said earlier that this is a watershed moment in our politics. Because in the past, where this kind of dirty tactics have been used, the locals have been left totally confused. There have been very few people in the affected areas who have been able to see through the violence, to see through the dirty political tactics, and thus be able to point a finger at the source. That has never happened before. In my view, this is the clearest evidence yet of the transformation of the typical Kenyan voter from a tribal zombie into something else that should be very scary to politicians. Scary to politicians because it is now clear that at least one of the favorite weapons that they have used with great success in the past no longer flies. When people are able to read the situation and understand what is happening, the tendency is that the whole thing can backfire very badly on those who caused the violence. And I believe that is what is unfolding at least politically, in Muranga, even as we speak. Now, there's something else that we should get very clearly on our minds. In the past, we have seen very clinically executed operations of this nature, where it's very difficult to be able to point fingers at the source of the trouble. For example, those supposed to cause the chaos arrive several days before the event and at night, and they mingle with the people in the area well in advance of the planned event. The shoddy, careless, haphazard approach in this instance may suggest that this was mainly the work of some politicians who were very eager to please their superiors, their bosses. You know, your boss can tell you something like, I thought you were very popular in this area. What is happening in your area? It seems you have lost popularity and you're lying to us. You have got completely no sway or impact amongst your constituents. And so in desperation, that particular politician can go out and do something silly, like what we saw happening in Muranga, in a desperate attempt to turn the tide and prove to their boss that indeed they're still popular in the area. I could of course be wrong, but that is my view. Anyway, let us take away the good news from this very sad incident. Kenyans of goodwill from both sides of the political divide must appreciate that despite the skeptical Kenyans who have said the Kenyan voter will never change, Kenyan politics will never change, we now have before us a very clear example, indeed very clear evidence, that our politics is changing, and it is changing very rapidly. The Kenyan voter is changing, and they're changing so fast that clearly the politicians have no clue. At least those who caused the unfortunate Muranga incident have no clue. Because if they knew, they would not have done what they did. They would have opted for other methods to use in this political battle to win the day. Now they've ended up being left with egg on their face. Going forward, the blame game will continue and possibly even escalate. But of course, that will not change or alter the political consequences and impact on the ground. Now, one name that keeps on coming up in connection to this incident is the Muranga women's representative, Sabina Chege. Most of us remember Sabina Chege as a firm supporter of the deputy president. At one point, she even publicly declared that she is very interested in being nominated as the running mate to Deputy President William Samoei Ruto in 2022. And then suddenly, drama, she shifted camps to Team Keleweke. And overnight, she became a staunch supporter of President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga and Team Keleweke. It is still a deep mystery, how exactly that happened. But in a subsequent video, I'm going to focus on this particular politician, Sabina Chege, in a bid to come out with some answers. And that video will be up very shortly. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.